Hello, my name is Boy van der Berg, and I believe that we should redefine the relationship between urban and green. And I think that we should ask the question again and again, do we have enough healthy food, sustainable energy and clean drink water in the cities of the future? In 2022, the cities must be greener. Greener in architecture, greener in fashion, art and food. Greener in everything. And therefore, we need young minds. We have to break through set patterns, and we have to create communities with different backgrounds, with a common belief: greener cities. And I want to take you on a tour. Imagine that you're at a station and you buy a magazine, and in this magazine you see a fancy bar built by two young entrepreneurs. This car is made out of materials they get from the famous Dutch flower auction, and they sell drinks out of plants, sodas they get from an innovative grower. And then you go to a festival in Rotterdam and you see this fancy bar on the Science Festival of Rotterdam. And these guys, you talk to them and you say, and they tell to you, oh, you have to go to this other project from a guy who is building a floating office out of materials he is growing in the city. For example, the curved hardwood he's using for the roof construction, and the hemp he's used for the insulation. And he is already getting international visitors. For example, a famous bouquet maker from Japan. And then 200 meters next to this floating office, there's a hall, and you see a lot of volunteers working on a filtered mat from wool, from sheeps, and this is for the inner wall of this floating office. It's and then you're in the night, you're at home, and you see on television a show, and you see there the interior architect of this floating office. And then you make an appointment with her the next day, and she tells you about her other passion, about her passion of making sand. She is making sand out of materials she's using in the floating office. So it's a sand based on wool, wood and hemp. And then you're at home with so many inspiring ideas, and you open a newspaper and you see 2 full pages about a guy who is planting a food forest. And he's already getting 60 species in his forest. And he is also, you can also read in this article not only about growing food in his forest, but also about living in his forest, and not with a normal housing plan, but with a tiny housing plan. And then you put on the television and you see these guys again on the television, and you see them talking and presenting the new occupier for this tiny house, a well-known gardener of the Netherlands. How does it come that it's all happening on and around this island we are focusing on? This is, and it's also right in the middle of a city. And the city, it's called Almere, and this is 20 kilometers of Amsterdam, and it's really central in the Netherlands. And you see, and you are thinking, how does it come that all these cool initiatives are popping up over there? This is because of the Floriade, the World Horticultural Expo. The Floriade has a big history. The first one was in 1960 in Rotterdam, and it's starting from spring to autumn. It takes around 6 months, and in 1960 there were around 3 million visitors. It's held every 10 years another place in the Netherlands, and the last Floriade was in Venlo in 2012. And that was also my first connection with the Floriade. I'm an urban planner, and this is my first job. And I was there contributing in a team from Almere to think of the next Floriade in 2022. And we came up with the team Growing Green Cities. And we are inviting the horticultural industry to come to a city and to develop there a self-sustaining urban district of 60 acres in the middle of the city. And the horticulture industry was really impressed by that plan, and they chose to organize the next Floriade in Almere. So we are now organizing the Floriade in Almere. This is was a huge moment for me in my starting career. But I was also with like the star team in Almere. What can we do? And I saw that with all this lot of interests around, that people are still making plans, but we didn't do anything. So I was looking around and I met some people. The first one I met was Samuel Levy. And this guy has started his own sausage factory with his 2 friends. But at the same time, he's debating on a national level about the future of food. And I really like that combination of making things and debating. He also started the Youth Food Movement, a program for young people who get a chance to see the ins and outs of the food industry. And I was really impressed by that. And at the same time, I met Floris van Bommel. This guy owns, with his 2 brothers, a famous shoe brand here in the Netherlands. It's a family brand. It's 9 generations of making shoes, and Floris put a new brand, like a young shoe brand, next to the Van Bommel, next to the old-fashioned Van Bommel shoe, the Floris van Bommel. And these 2 brands are working together, and because of this collaboration, the whole Van Bommel company is growing and growing, and it's getting more and more success. So I was learning from those 2 guys, and I was looking and making the parallel with the Floriade, like this history of the brand Floriade. It's well known by everyone. The special theme of growing green cities, and also with the awareness of the development of Almere. It started as a garden city in the 80s, and it wants to grow to a green city in 2030. And in between, we have the chance to organize the Floriade in the middle of the city, where you can grow your own food, and where you can experiment with new ways of living and new ways of infrastructure, and you can enjoy the greener life. This is an image of the whole plan, and it's really impressive, I think. And that was what I already explained. It was also for me. So I really wanted to do something and not making plans and discuss about how can we organize this plan. So I started the program Urban Greeners. And that's an annual program, and we invite every year a selected group of young entrepreneurs to build with us to the Floriade. I started with 3 other people, and we brought 4 wheelbarrows, and we made out of a lounge of it. So we went to a lot of conferences and talked about our plans. And after 2 months, we had 5 founding partners and the finance to start this program. It was in 2014. So then we invited the first group of young entrepreneurs. It was really cool with different backgrounds. They came to Almere, and they had a lot of energy to start their own enterprise towards the Floriade. But they also came with so many ideas and plans. And I was like, oh, come on guys, let's start something, let's build something. And at the same time, try to talk about the future perspective. So I had a lot of discussions with this group to start something small, but something small that's so good that it can grow to the Floriade in 2022. And I said to them, focus on the horticultural industry. This is our special network, and we can translate the innovations of the horticulture industry in a growing green cities perspective, and we can translate it and communicate it to a bigger audience. And that's what we do now. So we started in 2014 with 3 enterprises. This year, we start like 3 extra enterprises. On the 2nd of January, we will launch it, so follow us. And in the next year, we will grow with a lot of enterprises together. It's not only about the number of enterprises, it's also about growing a green, vibrant, young community in the center of a city. And it's also about like the translation to communicate it to a big audience and to give young people the chance to build a greener city. So that's what we are doing now. The mobile bar has already gone to 40 festivals, and now it's creating its own festival. The floating office worked already with at least 80 partnerships, designed by the Growing Green Cities principles. We already planted the food forest for 60 species, and now we are growing there with 400 species. So we are developing a part of this Floriade. Also, the municipality of Almere really liked this, so they give us a contract to develop this island officially to 2022. So that's what we are doing now. And you see, the island is developing towards the Floriade. For example, in 2017 we got 18 enterprises. 2018 is a special year because next to the growing of the enterprises, we're also organizing like a pre-World Expo by young entrepreneurs in 2018 in the summer. So come there. In 2000, we got 30, and we grow to 36. And during the Floriade, we are with 48 at least. So I can ask you only one question, and that's, do you grow along? Thank you for attention.